Yes. If anything, Waldorf Education is actually a very sustainable education system. It was developed about 100 years ago with this very simple plot in mind by Rudolf Steiner, as well as the person who funded the Waldorf Education. If we do not know what we need to learn in the future, why do we need to teach them what we think we know? We should raise children, we should teach children who would be really good learners, who would love what they learn. So with this thought in mind, we basically have a curriculum that is age appropriate, delivering things at the right time, right information at the right time. I'll give you a very simple example. Most of you are actually young parents. Do you remember when your child was born? Did your child have any needs other than being fed? Right? Your child needed, all your child needed was to be carried, to be fed, to be cleaned. Just that. But have you ever thought about how little you actually needed to do to stimulate care? They cry, you run to them. They scream, you check the water. Right? They wail, you quickly fix the water. That is your child unconsciously wondering what happens when I scream, what happens when I wail, what happens when I shout. That's all they needed to do. They were wondering what these people around me is going to do when I do that. This continues as they're growing up. And you notice you are feeding them. When you start feeding them from milk, you start making sweet potato puree. It tastes sweet. You start making pear puree. They taste the graininess in the pear puree, right? Then they get a bit older, you give them a rusk. They start chewing the rusk. They start to make a mess. They see this, they feel everything, they taste everything. And in that short period of time, they have learned what texture is about, what taste is about. When they start to see a bit more as they grow, as babies, you start to make faces at them. You start to sing to them more. You start to talk to them more. You start to play peekaboo with them. You start doing these things because you know they can see you now, right? And you start saying, say dada, dada, dada. You say mommy, 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 mommy. You go on and on with the things that you want to hear from them. All these are very simple, instinctive things that you as parents naturally do for your baby. 0 years old, 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, beyond. You didn't need a book to tell you that. You didn't need to Google that much to figure that out. It's basically instinctive parenting, right? That's all you needed to do. But do you also notice that they learn the fastest and the best at that moment? You notice how quickly they pick up all the signs that you show them. How quickly they start blabbing words. How quickly they know how to pick up food. How quickly they show you these things when you give them a lemon. This is what we are trying to emulate in a Waldorf school. Fundamentally, a Waldorf school is basically a school that delivers a pedagogy that is based on the developmental stages of a child. We will go through that a little bit more after this. But what do you mean by developmental stages of a child? We work on the 7-year cycle. 0 to 7 years, 7 to 14 years, 14 to 21, so on and so forth. So we work on the 7-year cycle for the children's developmental stages. At every stage of this, they go through a milestone. So it's quite simple. All you have to do is remember this. At every stage, there are things they need to learn, and they learn best at these stages. Not too early, not too late. Just that. No point at 3 years old, we give them a laptop and ask them to start typing alphabets there, and hopefully they pick up what's A, what B, and C. It's just too much, too soon. All they need to do is go into the mud or play in the sand, because that is when they learn best to feel what's around. So Waldorf Education, in short, is quite simple. We deliver age-appropriate curriculum to the children based on their developmental stages. If you look at this, a child, this is quite far away, but you see the blue circle around the head. That is the head. That is where thinking comes in. Then you see the pink circle. The pink circle is the feeling, where it involves the heart. And the red circle, we call it the will, which are actually our hands, our limbs, our bodies. So the first 7 years, the children work best if you do anything involving their body, their limbs, their hands. That is all you need to do. That's all we do in school, in our early childhood program, which Lalida will speak to you about later. And when the children grow up to school-going age, between 7 to 14, that's when you see the pink. Their heart is engaged. You will notice at this age, you will have resistance from them. So it's basically having them do these things without knowing that they're doing it and that they enjoy doing it. That's the best way to get the children to learn. And as they got older, when they enter high school, that's the blue area, the thinking part, where they are then exposed to more details. Because that is when they can understand and they actually want to know what is happening in detail. Anything before that, totally lost in the children. So we have today a lot of parents who are very frustrated, like, how do I get them to want to do this? How do I get them to want to do maths? How do I want to get them to do history and whatnot? Ask yourself if this is the right time to introduce these things to the children. Very simple as that. And we, the Waldorf Education, is a school basically, if you look around. We are a community-based school. We are a school, we call it a sustainable school because we link the children with society. We want the children to learn for themselves, for the society. I think that's what every parent wants. We want our children to learn to be able to function in society, to be able to contribute to society. That is what is lacking in the conventional schools. Conventional schools are basically designing curriculum that fits the bill of what they think the world needs in future. But do we know what the world needs in future? We have no idea at all. The world is constantly changing. So the only way we feel that can solve this is we raise children, we school children, to always have a sense of wonder, to question, to ask, to want to know more. And only in this environment can they actually learn all the things that we want to tell them, we want to show them. Right, so we will go into detail a bit more with the curriculum, but I would like to hand the mic to Lalida. Lalida is our early childhood specialist. She will talk to you about the early years.
Thank you, Teacher Deenie. Teacher Deenie is our primary teacher. She's a class teacher. And my name is Lalida. I'm a kindergarten teacher in our KLSS. So before I start the talk for the early childhood, I want to bring you back a little bit in time. So you have to tell me, just think in your head, what was the things you remember when you were 21 years old? In your mind. Don't need to tell. You can giggle a little bit, it's okay. 21 years. Now, think back again. What was the memory you had when you were 14 years old? You had 14 years old. Next, think of the memory you had when you were 7 years old. Can you still think of anything? Remember anything? And if I ask you again, do you remember anything at all when you were the time that you were born until maybe you're 16? Most people don't remember things. Some people remember certain things, but that things always related to a person or place, or the taste of the food, or the smell, or maybe the sound. So when early childhood, when we're talking about what we teach the children in the Waldorf school, the children will tell you, we're not here to learn anything. Teacher never teach me anything. And it's true, because we don't teach them anything. We provide them with what they need. Because in Waldorf Education, like Teacher Deenie mentioned, we focus the children's development and the curriculum based on their taste. So in the younger age, 0 to 7 years old, is very much on their willing stage. 7 to 14, feeling, and then thinking. So what does it mean, the willing stage? The willing stage is a stage that happens unconsciously. You don't even know that you're doing that. So in our body, there also the certain part of our body that also work without us knowing that is working. For example, your heartbeat. You don't know that your heart is beating. You don't even feel it unless you have the heart attack. Then you don't know. Most of the time you don't know. So all those things that happen unconsciously is the same stage with the child development. On the other hand, you see the baby's bodies or their head, for example, the newborn. Their physical development actually starts from here, the head. The bone is such a huge head and very little body. And the head keep on growing and the body keep on lengthening. So when the head is growing, do we want them to use the head to do flashcards and everything? In Waldorf Education, we don't. We let them grow their brain. We don't use them yet. Because if you start to use, of course, they can. Human is very amazing things. But then the brain will be used for something else instead of using that energy to gain the size. Then what do we do with the young kids? We help them stimulate their limbs, and their feet. And why do we do that? We go back again to the child development. So when the children is born, 0 to 1 years old, the golden target for them to be able to achieve is actually the uprightness. All the babies, the turning, the sitting up, the standing, is the milestone that what they need to master. They need to learn how to use their limbs, how to push themselves up, how to roll with their back, and then how to stand up. 2 years old children, they need to learn how to walk. It's not easy if you're parents of the young child. They walk one step, they fall down. They walk 2 steps, they try to run and then they fall down. So how do they learn to do that? They have to master the skill. And to master the skill, it's just to let them know. So we also don't encourage them to use a walker because walker will stop them from walking by themselves. Another thing that the 2 years old children is trying to master is making sound language. They learn to start from the universal language, which is baby babbling. Gaga, baba, boo, boo, ah, doesn't mean anything. Any baby in this world will have the same language, just sound. At 2 years old, they start to find out. Actually, sound have some meaning. Some sound have some meaning. The sound of the language from the father. And if the mother speaks another language, there's also a different sound. It means something, but maybe it can sound different. A dog bark also a sound, but it might not be anything. The car sound, it sound that sound. So they start to learn, taking all the language. What happens when it's 3 years old? This is the biggest milestone of so-called young children because they know that me is not you. I'm the only one in this world. That's why some of the children start to have separation anxiety because he or she start to know already, I'm not a part of my mom. I'm not just the limbs of my mom. I'm extended part. That's why just now you can hear some crying of the little children. They cry so much because they know that if I don't see my mom, it's me alone, so they feel scared. But at the same time, they also learn the language, the most powerful words in childhood, which is no. No. They can say no to the parents. Because they already know that, because I'm not a part of you, you are not me, you can tell me to do something and I can still tell you back that no, I don't know. Previously, there was no such thing as saying no to the parents. That's the 3 years old. And 4 years old is the time that we say is the most suitable time for the children that can start the school because they start to be able to relate to the society, to the friend, to the teacher, and they start to adjust to this society. They start to growing long limbs. They know how to wear their clothes a little bit wrong-sided, upward, acupuncture, but anyway, this is how things work. 5 years old, they master their play. They know that they can play things in a different way. And when 6 years old, kids think that they are adult. I can design my own life. I can plan a lot of things. And it can be according to what I need. So because we know that this is the child development for the young one, don't know anything, only need to stand up until you can plan and play. In the Waldorf Education, we also have to provide the learning environment to support all this growth. So in our school, we start the first class for the children is the nursery class, of which we take the children the year they turn 3 years old. Nursery class environment is more home-like, so it's more like a mom take care of a child. There's no academic learning. The day is very smooth. You wake up, you play, you eat, you play again, you eat again, you sleep, and you go back home. It's as if it's a home life. And the ratio for the children to the teacher is only 1 teacher, 4 children. Yeah. Once the years that they turn 4 years old, is the first year that we take them, move them up to kindergarten. And in the kindergarten is the mixed age group, means we have the children that is 4 years old, 5 years old, and 6 years old. Why do we do that? Because the children, they learn best with imitation. We don't need textbook, we don't need a blackboard here. Because they learn from what they see. The 4 years old kid can learn from the 6 years old kid how to change their clothes, wash their bowl. And the 6 years old kids also can learn to teach the young one or take care of the young one or help the teacher to do the work inside the classroom. Inside the Waldorf Education, what the children need is actually a simple, reliable rhythm. So our day inside the school will start when the parents send them to the school. We'll have a morning circle. Morning circle is a time when the children come together, sing some song, do some words, and then there's a certain body movement. After that, we'll have a morning breakfast. After children finish eating, every single one of them will have to take out their own utensil. They will go to a washing basin, wash the bowl, clean the spoon, go to another place, wipe their bowl dry, keep it in place, and when they're ready, they'll go outdoor to play. And when the outdoor play finish, everybody knows it's time to move on to the next activity. They will clean up their toys with teacher, with friends, and they will go inside, clean up themselves, change, and go do indoor activities. So the indoor activity that we will do is depend on the day of the week. Because even though the day is the same like the rhythm of the wave, the children can learn the difference of each day with the activity that we will do. Monday is a B-wax day, so they will form a B-wax. It's almost like a Play-Doh, but the B-wax is harder. You have to keep them warm in order to make some shape. Tuesday is a bake day, so the children will knead the dough, and then the teacher make the bread to be a tea bread for the third of the day. Wednesday is a day we do watercolor painting. Thursday is a day that we do yarn work. If you want to see the sample of the yarn work that they do, you can go outside. We have an exhibition for the early childhood there. And then Friday is the most important day because it's the day that they clean the whole classroom. Because inside the classroom is where they come and play and learn together. So every Friday, every children will help clean up the classroom, clean up the toys, clean up the utensils, clean up the wall, mop the floor. Because they can have the sense of belonging when they feel that this is my place. They feel like they want to come here and that they want to do more. And by doing, they're actually learning new skills every day. And at the same time, we also have, apart from the weekly, we learn from activities that they do in different days. We also have the yearly rhythm. Yearly rhythm can be Chinese New Year, we have a celebration, Hari Raya, the Diwali. We even have a Songkran Day because we have students and parents are from Thailand. We have Waldorf Day that, as you can see, the whole school is coming up together to do all these things. So the children also feel that yes, the time flow this way. There's always Chinese New Year, there's always Hari Raya, there's always school bazaar, there's always the Diwali, and then at the end of the year there is always graduation. The graduation is a very special event for the 6-year-old children because we're sending them over to the primary school. So the parents will do some craft as a gift for the children, and the children also have to do certain craft and task work for them to finish. It's almost like a thesis for the parents. Outside later you can also see what the children do. The children can do woodwork. It's kindergarten children, but they can do so much. All this because of the invitation. So from then, we'll pass to grade 1. Thank you, Lalida. Thank you, Lalida.
So that was actually a very, brief introduction because we only have a very short period of time. So we had to choose what we thought would be interesting for you and what you could explore further when you're considering education for your child. This part about primary school and middle school, I will be talking to you about the curriculum from grade 1 to 4. Teacher Patricia will share with you the curriculum from grade 5 to 8. So Carol Steiner is a school that not only has early childhood education, we also have primary and middle school. We are also developing the school for high school. That means all the way to pre-university. But that's another talk for another day. As Teacher Lalida said just now, earlier I asked you if you thought that Waldorf Education was fluffy and stuff, right? A lot of people think that Waldorf Education has no structure, but from how you've heard from Teacher Lalida, you notice there's actually a structure. So it's not that we leave the children, go play, time to eat, and they come in to eat, go play, come back, it's time to go home. It's not that. Their days are actually very few. The same goes for primary. They enter primary at 7 years old or 8 years old, depending on their readiness. We make sure that they have a routine and a structure. As much as Waldorf Education is known to be open, to be intuitive, we remain as a very pliable and very flexible curriculum. We do have a base to work from, but we are always flexible and we are always constantly evolving our curriculum. After all, it's been 100 years. You cannot not evolve. Just like a political system, you must evolve with the times. Same with education. We do not stagnate our curriculum. We need to constantly see what's happening. And we see how the children are developing. I grew up in a different generation, different environment. You grew up from a different environment and generation. Every one of us grew up in a different environment. And with that, we need to constantly evolve. So although this is happening, Waldorf Education is actually one of the most rigorous curriculum. It's rigorous academically as well. And I'll show you why. From grade 1, for example, the children have a full day with us at school. We have what we call main lesson. The two very clear things you will notice in Waldorf Education is we have block teaching, key thing. Secondly, we have no textbook. Block teaching and no textbook. So what is block teaching? Block teaching, if you look at main lesson, block teaching means we are an interdisciplinary curriculum. So if you look at these things here, which we can review later on, when you see that expression or whatnot. Interdisciplinary means a lot of these subjects cross. They complement each other. That's why they are there at certain stages. They complement each other based on how the children understand at that age. Yeah, so we don't teach them things that are beyond your comprehension because you're just wasting your time, even at home. If you're trying to teach them something beyond your comprehension, you're basically wasting your time, wasting your saliva, wasting your energy. Yeah? You go based on, you will understand your child better if you actually observe them. And you can come up with a better version for your child. This is what Willow Stein has done for us. So if you look at, I pick up, for example, manual history. We call it manual history, but basically it's interdisciplinary in this way. In grade 1 and grade 2, they are still in this dreamy stage in kindergarten. Suddenly, mini reality hits them when they enter school. But we want to still keep them in their imagination. But how do we teach them? By keeping them in their imagination and continue to stimulate their imagination. We introduce fairy tales, fables. These are very, very important elements in our grade 1 and 2. In a year, grade 1 and 2 children go through probably, I would say, 80 to 100 stories. They listen to 80 to 100 stories. And a story minimum, one story a day. Every day in school. In these stories, they are shown the archetypical characters of society. Literary writing could, for example, you hear about a story, you didn't listen to your mom, continues to stray off the path, meets the wolf, typical wolf. So all these stories tell something to the children. Without us needing to say, hey, you listen to me, you listen to me, run off, you don't go and talk to strangers. You don't need to do that. Totally don't need to do that. They get it from the stories. These stories are hundreds of years old. All these old stories, we're not talking about the new made-up stories though. We're talking about stories that were created long time ago, told by storytellers. So all Waldorf teachers, everyone that you see out there, are storytellers. It all starts with storytelling. The most important information can be delivered to a child through narrative. Very, very important. So they actually learn what's happening around them, around society, through stories. And you hear that a lot. Every day your child will go back and say, oh, what did you learn today? I heard a story about Simile Mountain, I heard a story about Thumbelina, I heard a story. They will hear all kinds of stories. And trust me, they remember. Because we have a process where we want them to retell the stories. And whenever a child retells stories, something clicks and works in them. You almost will hear it immediately. And this is what you want. This is how you want to deliver your education. So in grade 1 or 2, in this area, we do fairy tales, fables, and stories of saints. Stories are saints, yeah? Are stories from the Old Testament. If you think that we are religious, we're not. We're totally secular, we are not. But these are all stories. They come from different cultures. They come from the Indian culture. They come from the Persian culture. They come from all cultures. They are all stories of good people. So at this stage, we want them to know, despite the wolves, despite the witches they hear about, they also hear about the goodness of human people. They are people who do good deeds. And this is where they learn they are saints, they are prophets. There are many stories around the world that has these lessons. Very, very important. And they go on to creation stories. We explore stories from the oral Asli, the oral Asal, from all cultures, to know the beginning of how the earth came about. We don't go all science on them, but this is science in some way, history in some way. Yeah? They will get that, understand that. The important thing is, at this stage, we want to preserve the beauty that they have in their heart and their mind. You don't need to feed them what is shown on the television or what is shown in the YouTube videos. There's no need for that. They will catch up with that when they grow up, when they are much older. It's very important. But in the meantime, when you learn in Waldorf school, when you're in school, that is protected and that is taken care of. From the creation stories, in grade 4, they go to mythology. Mythology here, we let them hear stories of Thor. They all love the Nordic tales. And the Nordic tales have lots and lots of wonderful stories. Yeah, and they enjoy that. That is when they're like, oh, it's like the Thor we hear, it's like the Marvel heroes. Yeah, but we don't go Marvel hero-y on them. But these are real myths. They never knew that these are real stories. So they actually are introduced to mythologies. Lots of myths, mythology stories in grade 4. In maths, yes, we do maths. We don't just tell stories. So in the main lesson, we have history, yeah, and we have language. So through fairy tales, fables, creation stories, and mythologies, we actually cover language. So here, when they hear us speak, they learn how to diction properly. They learn how to use grammar narratively. There's no writing. You don't get them to write. You don't get them to write A, B, write this word 5 times, 10 times. No, not at all. They learn it by listening to us. So we speak clearly, You do that at home as well. If you read a story, you speak to your children, you speak clearly, they speak clearly. If you speak gibberish, they speak gibberish. That's how children learn at this age. Okay. So we have these covered for history and language. In mathematics, grade 1 and 2, we do the quality of numbers. So basically, they learn, we introduce numbers to them in the most practical manner. Yeah, they see how the sun is 1, night and day is 2, mom, dad, and them 3. We go on that process of learning. So their imagination is preserved. They continue to think that way. Yeah, that's how we teach numbers. And they go on the sequence of numbers, and they learn to write the sequence of numbers. For processes and tables, they learn the standard addition, minus, multiplication, division, very simple. They do their timetables. Yeah, in case you're wondering, will they ever learn their timetables? They do their timetables. They do learn their timetables, but they do it in the most fun manner. Absolutely fun manner. You've got a rabbit hopping, looking for carrots, tree holes, and they find a carrot. Another tree holes, they find a carrot. They learn their tables in school. They learn by skipping numbers. They learn by jumping. They learn by walking. They learn in the most fun manner, so that at the end of the day, they won't realize that they've actually learned something. They don't. But they will remember because it's done at home. And every day in class, we never forget about this aspect, the thinking, feeling, and learning. Our class, timetable, and everything that we teach in the block has to have all these 3 aspects. Totally. It is so important. So we do not only stimulate this. This is the last thing we will actually stimulate. But the first thing is they will enter the class and they will work with their hands, or their legs and their limbs. They will do songs, they will do rhymes, they will do verses, they will do poetry, verbally, with their hands. They do clapping games, they move in directions and circle, just to get their hands and their body moving, get into the rhythm for learning. So while they are doing all this, they are actually remembering. They are actually remembering this. Remember when your mom used to tell you, when you would sing in the shower and you would sing Taylor Swift songs or Ed Sheeran and all, and your mom would tell you that if only your studies were as good as your singing. That's what my mom used to tell me too. But this is actually true. They learn when they move, and they learn when they sing, and they learn when they hear. It sticks in their head. There's no need to go on and on. You don't have to say tuition, drill. You don't have to do drill work. Not necessarily. You actually learn it from children. And in grade 3, they start to go into measurements. They learn measurements. They learn how to measure traditionally. We don't really take out the ruler, go measure this. They don't. They learn how to measure using their limbs. Yes. So if anything, apocalypse, no ruler, no calculator, anything, they know how to use this, they know how to use this, they know how to use this. They use their body, they know how to use this. Everything. Everything with their body, and they will remember it. They remember that signal. So our children, when outside, when they're out, you don't see rulers around. They will just measure how long is the table, how many footsteps is this room. They do that. It's just that, as simple as that. So they learn it this way. And in grade 4, they go into fractions. If you see our grade 4 children, grade 4 scores are actually up for the result. They have a few times dividing the food that they had to sell. So all things are learned in this practical manner. The same at home. Whatever we teach at school, we show at school, at home we do the same thing. We do the same thing. They know that from a cake, we look at the grade 6, and for a cake, half, another half, and a quarter, they do that. They learn fractions and they understand the concept of fractions. And we also, from maths, we have sciences. Sciences from 1 to 4 is done again through stories and observation. Grade 1 and 2, we have nature skills. Our school is the best place for it. We are in the forest. There is a saying, George Eliot actually said, there will be no appreciation for the earth or the world if you have had no childhood on it. You understand that what that means. You will appreciate the fact that the school is in the thick of things, in the forest. We constantly make sure that our environment has the best lessons for our children. Our children's favorite toy is actually the stick. Every kid has a stick out there. They walk around the stick. You've got the grade 1, this is my pencil. You've got the grade 2, this is my helicopter. You've got the grade 3, this is my wand. You have the grade 4. Every age never gets old, the stick. They use it as a horse, they use it for everything. This is where their imagination goes. At home you have toys, here we have no toys. We only have what we have there. So, with sciences, grade 1 and 2 learn the sciences through nature stories and through nature observations. We have hiking, we have outdoor classes. During our main lessons as well, we take them outside for observations. So they do these learning of the sciences actually from here. To give you a very simple example, I just told a story about rainbows to my children. I didn't go all sciencey because I'm 7 years old. But they learned about the sun fairies, they learned about the water fairies, and how the sun fairies and the water fairies play. And of course, I've got some really smart ones. He said, that's because it's water and sun makes rainbow. I don't mind that. But all of them knew that it is the sun rays that come out and the water droplets that goes up that were played by the fairies. And with that, they get the rainbow. Then I asked them a simple question. Yes, you know the rainbow is up. What's the rainbow there? And they're like, you see, when you get all sciencey with that, water, sun, you get rainbow. But nobody ever tells them what the rainbow is there for. So we try to keep that thought. So I tell them, shall we now go down? Go down. I want you to find 7 flowers in our school that has all colors of the rainbow. And they found all 7 flowers of the colors of the rainbow. This is how we want the children to relate the sciences to the natural world, what they see. But we don't tell them there's color pigment in the flower, that whole thing. Grade 1 and 2 is not going to understand that. They're not. All they need to know now is, you see the rainbow, the 7 colors, there are 7 colors flowers. When we come back to class, go home now and think. Find 7 fruits of those colors. And the next thing, you come up with all 7 fruits. This is how Waldorf Education works. We connect them from what they learn in school to what happens in real life. So they will never ever wonder that you are just giving information to them. Never just only in the head. It's always the whole person, the whole child is involved in that. The grade 4, right? 4. Grade 3 will learn nature and sciences through their home surroundings. So they will observe things that are happening around them, around their home, around the school. They learn what is happening naturally around them. And in grade 4, we go into man and animals. This is where we go into detail. We correlate human and animals. We will highlight 4 great animals for them to notice. We will learn about the eagles, for example, where the strength is in wings. We will learn about animals which has got a whole lot more brains, so to speak. For example, we observe the octopus. It's got a really huge head. Or the cow. They observe these day-to-day animals and they make more detailed notes and learnings from these things that we teach. Yeah. So while we have all this in main lesson is done 2 hours in the day in the morning when they come to school from 8 to 10. This is where their thinking is stimulated. As much as we do the willing and they feel what they're being taught, their thoughts are the ones that are being stimulated early in the morning. We not only do the main lesson, after they start, we actually have subject lessons. So your children actually will have lessons in art, painting, music, craft, and movement. Art, they basically do painting. We have watercolor painting that we do with them. They also learn geometry. They learn form drawing. Form drawing is a very Waldorf specific subject, which we can explain to you another time. But these are purposeful subjects. Everything they learn there is purposeful. It is with a purpose, without them ever realizing that they have just learned something. And we have music. The children learn flute. They not only learn how to sing, they learn to play with the flute, they learn violin as well. From grade 4, they start to learn violin, they start playing instruments. Craft. One of the highlights of the Waldorf education is all Waldorf students know how to knit. So you're like, even the boys? Yes, even the boys. They know how to knit. Why we teach them knitting? Left brain, right brain, both hands. This is the only way both sides of the brains get activated. They are patient. They learn to use both hands equally. So you will find a child that's very balanced and very relaxed once they figure that out. So they learn knitting, they learn crochet, they work with their hands a lot. So that is one of the highlights of the student. And we have movement. What is movement? Movement, we do games and movement for the very young children, grade 1 and 2. They play lots of games. So all the games will cover things in fairy tales, will cover things in numbers, will cover things in nature. Their games and their movements, they do skipping ropes, they hop, they run, they skip. That's in grade 1 and 2. In grade 3, they start to play more specific. We have game movement, more specific driven, more skills driven, more thinking involved as well. They also do rhythmic. It's also another form of movement, something like dance but not dance. And we have dance lessons as well. We have dance doing that. So all these are introduced based on their age. So it's not that they do dance from grade 1 and on, but based on what's suitable for them at that age. And we do PE as well. So if you look at this, they actually have got quite a busy day. We have a very tired child when they go home. So we tell our parents, please don't go and add a Kumon or another dancing lesson or another lesson here or tuition here. Completely unnecessary. They'll be dead tired by the time they go home. So when they're that tired, when they go home, all you have to do is make sure they shower, they eat, and you sit and do nothing with them. Totally do nothing with them. Have a chat with them. This is what we tell our parents. Have a chat with them. Ask them to tell you what happened in their day. This is also a time for you to be very close to your children with no demands from you or from you. The children totally needs them. You need that really very much. Don't be tempted to throw them your phone. Don't be tempted to throw them your laptop. They don't need it at all. Totally. So I will pass you to Patricia. We will pass you to Patricia. Patricia will talk to you about the older grades, what's going to come up there. Patricia.
Everyone at the back hear me clearly? Just very years old and above. Because now we're talking about that age. Not really? Oh wow, you guys are so lucky because your children now have an opportunity to do this stuff that I'm going to talk about. I mean, I've got 3 kids, my oldest is already 23, so I have no chance to get my kids to do this cool stuff. So I hope I can engage you with what these children from grade 5 onwards will be doing. So grade 5, their thinking forces are now slowly awakening. So in the past, what Deenie and Lalida was talking about is doing a lot of things to develop their will forces and also their feelings forces. So, they feel a lot, but now slowly their thinking forces are being awakened. And we're going to push them a little bit more now. So in grade 5, we start with real science. We start with botanical science. So we go out and, as usual, this is not normal mainstream style. We go out for long walks. They really have to walk, like I make my children walk for at least an hour and a half, looking and observing every single plant. And I was thinking back to my grade 5 kid. She looked at, does anyone know a bird nest fern with lots of spores at the back of it? There's huge, huge ferns. And ferns normally like to grow next to their friends, the palm trees. And with those long walks, they observe so much. And then later on, they have to make a journal. Oh, this palm tree thing, this fern thing, this child was looking and observing this fern, we call it a bird nest fern, it's huge. And she looked at it and she says, this reminds me of like those barcodes, that are printed on things you pay for. I'm like, yeah, actually that's true. They see things with such a, cool, imaginative mind. That's what I really love about Waldorf Education. They, the children have a chance to really just be imaginative. The intellectual thinking, real thinking stuff can come after grade 6. So, okay, grade 5, what do we expect? This is what we call the golden age of childhood, where they have this beautiful balance between the inner and outer world. They find form and grace in what they do, and also in themselves. And the crown of this grade 5 period is the pentathlon, what we call the grade 5 Olympics. Children from all around Malaysia, we get together when they were in grade 5, we learn about ancient Greece. So everything that they learn through the years, not just that particular year, but through the years, are always connected. And now from mythology, ancient Greek gods, who knows Zeus and all the Greek gods, we now come to sort of real ancient Greek civilization, and we end that year with the Olympics. And this is not a competitive activity, it's really to foster friendship amongst all the other grade 5 children from the other schools, and also to discover the beauty of the human body, how graceful it could be when we throw the javelin, and how strong we could be when we do wrestling. So, I love grade 5, everyone's so beautifully balanced. And now I come to grade 6, this is the time when they really truly need to be more thinking now. And grade 6 is about ancient Rome. And we study Rome from the time of Remus and Romulus, the founding of Rome, all the way till the fall of Rome, and then onwards to the Middle Ages. So this is history part. But as with all history, through the years, every year, geography is very much woven into history as well. And the entire grade 6 is about their development as a child, the child's development. At grade 6, they are about 12 years old, and this is a time when they learn a lot about law and rules and order, because they're discovering that the world needs some order. How else can Rome become an empire if there was no law and order? And this is also true in their own personal lives as well. Your rooms need to be in order. Your classroom needs to be perfectly in order as well. And we have rules now. And we see this in the whole entire curriculum of grade 6. We have the rules and laws of geometry. They learn now to do, at the beginning would be on grade 5 they do freehand geometry, but in grade 6 they would use a straight edge meaning a ruler and a compass, and nothing more than that, and construct some amazing geometrical constructions. And you can see that later on. Past 11 o'clock, we're going to have some lesson stations here where the children will show you what they do. So with a straight edge and a compass, they make gorgeous, gorgeous geometry shapes and pictures, and of course that comes with rules. So you need to know how to exactly, with precision, bisect a line. And what in the world is bisecting a line? You know, they have to learn all this, how to drop a perpendicular to a line. All these rules come into play. And these rules also, Also, we see, for the first time now in grade 6, we have an introduction to astronomy. What are the rules and patterns in the sky that they can observe? Does the sun truly rise in the east? Who thinks so? Please, let me see your hand. Who thinks the sun rises from the east and only from the east? Anyone? If you could just open your hands and tell me, if you say no, right, the sun does not only rise in the east, so maybe sometimes the sun rises somewhere else. Okay, so with your hands, this is what we do in class, and we observe the sun every single day, throughout the year. Because this is the paving the path to when they do real, more thinking work in astronomy in grade 7. So with your two hands, if you can show me the sun's range of rising up from the horizon. So you say sometimes in the east, yeah, and sometimes maybe here, sometimes over here. So what is the range of the sun's, the range of it rising from wherever it's rising on the horizon? Anyone could show me? This. Anyone? Very good. Anyone else attempt? That's great. So it depends on the time of the year, right? So during, if we are in a higher latitude, so they learn about latitudes, longitudes, and what is the difference if you're in a higher latitude. And so basically the sun's path or the range is like this. Here to here, from northeast all the way to east, due east, and then southeast. This is the path of the sun through the year, but you would not know that. No one in mainstream school, because I volunteer a lot in mainstream schools before, and you would not know that if you did not observe the sun every day. And this one we actually started from grade 5, because suddenly, out of the blue, one fine day, the sun streamed right into my classroom and onto the board, and the girls had an impromptu shadow play. And they were making birds, and butterflies, and rabbits hopping, and then 2 months later, where's that sun? I couldn't do any more shadow plays, and I just kept quiet. I didn't say a word. And then in grade 6, I said, remember when you were in grade 5? So everything, it's not just at that spot at the moment, at that block. Deenie talked about blocks, so we talked about astronomy block, and is that all we talk about? No, we talk about history as well. We talk about geography as well. So a lot of things are just very interconnected, and that's the best part of it. Oh, I was talking about laws and rules in grade 6. We have, of course, phenomena in physics. So for the first time, they now do real science, right? So we do physics with the topics of heat, acoustic, and light. So, and everything that they do is based on phenomena, what they watch with their eyes, what they see happening, what they smell maybe, what they touch and feel. So everything is by pure phenomena, not by looking at a textbook and looking at some experiments that somebody else did and they never ever experienced them. So everything we study in physics, they have to experience it and see it for themselves. And what else? What are the rules and laws? The chivalrous code of the knights in Middle Ages. Of course, ancient Rome, and then we have geology in grade 6, where they study the stones. So after studying the stars, there's this polarity of studying the stones, so something far, far away that we can't touch, to something that we will see and feel and touch, and we go caving. this is the best part. Everyone's like scared of the dark, right? And we're in pitch blackness in the cave, which is a reflection of what we did in physics. Because when we study light, we first do our first day of physics with the absence of light. So we literally sit in a complete dark room, which I have to, use a lot of people's help to make sure I don't even have a chink of light coming in. And so we see that in real life, in a cave, where we truly have absolute pitch darkness. You cannot even see your hand in front of you. It doesn't matter whether you blink or not. You see nothing. And that's a feeling that is awesome when you see that in real life and not in my science lab. Okay, very, am I done? Oh,
No, I'm fine.
I'm fine. Okay, grade 7 coming up. Grade 7, which is right now, I'm teaching a class of grade 7. This is a time where, everybody's kind of like in the throes of puberty. They're standing on this bridge from late childhood to kind of young adulthood. A lot of emotional things happening inside. And so, to serve these children, we have a very rich curriculum in grade 7. We start the year with geometry as well. I love starting the year with geometry because it's kind of relaxed, nothing to do, not too much thinking in a way, it's not too academic, and it's fun to create things. But this time we're doing proven geometry. So whatever shape, like they were doing circles and a lot of geometric constructions in grade 6, in grade 7, I need you to prove. When you say a triangle is 180 degrees, prove it to me. And if you say the outside angles of a pentagon is 360 degrees, like show me, prove it to me that this is so. If you say what is the area of a circle? Pi r squared. Anybody learns maths and remember? What's the area of a circle? Prove it to me. How is that done? How is pi derived? Don't just tell me pi is 3.14. You know what I mean? So we start the year with proven geometry, and then we go on to so many things. Exploration, the age of exploration and discovery, and we start from our eastern side. We start with, anybody knows Zheng He, the admiral who made about 7 voyages around the world. Well, not around the world, but he was the one who kind of fostered friendship and showed off the might and splendor of the Ming Dynasty, the Emperor Yongle. So we start off with Zheng He, and then we go on to Western discoverers, explorers, such as Vasco da Gama and Bartholomew and all the Magellan. And so, what is the difference can you see? These people have an agenda of looking for spices, they want to find new lands, they want to conquer new territories. Can you see there is some sort of a difference? So they learn to see, and it's again a lot of storytelling here. They draw a lot of maps, and again precision is required. I don't want to see like India right next to like China kind of thing. I mean at the top, yes, but not at the sea level. So they learn to draw lots and lots of maps. So through history, we definitely learn geography. And then we have a totally new subject for them in grade 7, which is chemistry. And we start with learning about combustion, about fire and salts. So they every year they keep on. You can see in grade 1, what do you do every day? Fairy tales, form drawing, but all those are super important foundations to later years. They seem so almost trivial. How to learn how to draw like a running square, like how is that related to building my brain? But that has so much to do with creating this spatial awareness that they need in later years. So in grade 7 we also have talking chemistry, and then they deepen their interest in the world with lots more history, physiology, math, they learn algebra, and lots of writing, because now we have, I need them to be able to write, in very beautiful, flowing, being very eloquent, because in grade 6 when we were studying ancient Rome, I also made them stand up and be an orator. You have to be like Mark Antony giving a speech after the death of Julius Caesar. What did he say? Anybody knows? Shakespeare. Mark Antony's play. Shakespeare's play. Mark Antony's speech. Very, very famous. First line. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear. So I needed to stand up in front of the class. There's no pressure, there's no audience, and just the classmates. And they have to pretend like you are a really, strong and powerful orator, and you got to stand on your own and really give that speech. So in grade 7, that continues with writing. So we have a language block called Wish, Wonder, and Surprise. And all these writings are not based on figments of the imagination. I have to create that real experience for them. They experience it and then they write about it in much detail. And then, finally, grade 8. It's just amazing. I love grade 8. Okay, that's my next year. But in grade 8, this is the time they are, 14 years old, rebellion starts at this age. Okay, you guys are safe because you've got a lot more years, right? Kids are really young. So grade 8, this 14-year-old, they just want to say no to everything. Not just learning to say no, they actually say no to a lot of stuff. And we now study the age of revolution in grade 8. Industrial Revolution, American Revolution, French Revolution, why all those things happen. And then literature as well. I like to start with Animal Farm because it's a small, tiny book. You can handle it. And also because that is, everybody read George Orwell's Animal Farm before? Yeah, it's an allegory to the Russian Revolution. So it all kind of ties in. And everything they do has a connection to everything, really. And what am I supposed to stop? Because I can go on forever. So, and they do, so we study the sky. So grade 6 was, sorry, I'm going back to astronomy here. Grade 6 was about, studying the sun and the moon's path. Do you see the moon only at night? And everyone says, yeah, of course. Really? Do you ever see the moon in the day? But of course, a lot of kids look at the sky all the time. So they do notice that when is it that the moon is seen in the morning sky? Is it a waxing moon or is it a waning moon? So that's all in grade 6, right? It's just studying the path of the sun and the moon and whatever you can see with your naked eye. And in grade 7, we are going deeper now. We now coinciding with the age of exploration and discovery. This is when Galileo Galilei comes upon. So we start with Copernicus and his biography. We will study his biography. Everybody laughed at him when he said we are living in a heliocentric world, but a solar system. And people who say otherwise gets put to death, right? But then now comes, telescopes and inventions of the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci, and all this is in grade 7. Sorry, I'm kind of backtracking a bit, grade 7, because it's what I have to do this year. It's like non-stop learning for me as a teacher as well. Because I'm kind of like learning every single year with my children as well as they are from me. So, I don't know, what else do I have? Okay, sorry, back to grade 8 again. So with the stars and all that, now in grade 8 we study climatology, meteorology, the wind as well comes into play, and why do we have all these storms, this El Nino, El Nina, what are they? All these things, and then we have a lot of class outings and school trips. Actually, something to look forward to for us this year is we're going to join hands with some Waldorf schools in China who are actually recreating for their students Zhenghe's path. So we're going to meet in Malacca and they're going to continue on to Africa. I'm so jealous, but we're going to meet. So this is a time where people meet. I like the children to have lots of chance to meet with Waldorf schools, children from not just within Malaysia but outside of Malaysia. And just recently, last week, we had a music ensemble. For the first time ever, we were playing the recorder with like award-winning teams from Taiwan. And we just formed our ensemble in January, and we were playing with like world-class recorder musicians, all same age. but they were world class. Honestly, they were awesome. And so it was a really great experience for them. And later on, at about between 11 and 12, where we have our lesson, what do you call it? Lesson stations. Please have a look at what the children do, and we're going to end that with sort of a music showcase for you guys. Don't miss it. It's so good. I love that play. And yes, I look forward to see you later. If anybody has questions, we're taking questions now. Anyone or any grades from early childhood to grade 8?
So to wrap it up, basically, Waldorf Education is an age-appropriate education, and we focus on specializations, and children will learn based on blocks, where we focus nothing but on those information. So this is how they stick. This is the clear difference you will see from conventional schools to Waldorf schools. The other thing is, remember I mentioned about no textbooks? It's because the children create their own textbooks. This is a way, our strategy, to get them to recall and to write what they have learned. So that is their textbook. So all these things, the other very interesting point which we forgot to mention is that in the Waldorf school, traditionally, the teacher stays with the students from grade 1 all the way to grade 8. Some schools work on 1 to 4, depending, but there's a reason behind this. We grow with the children. When we see the children grow, just like you as a parent watch your children grow, we understand them better. We are able to cater, we know their quirks, we know their strengths, we know their whatever that they are not confident with, we know how to work with them. So that's actually one of the key things. Yeah, so we'll wrap this up. Are there any questions that you think needs to be answered now? Because we have an exhibition area which you are able to see for every grade. The textbooks I was talking about, they're also there, you can actually look at it. There will be teachers there, experienced teachers there, where you can ask questions. We are also turning this hall into learning stations. The older children are going to come here and set up stations for you to see what they learn in the sciences, what they do with music, what the little ones do with their fingers, what other movement activities. You come back here after 11 o'clock, you can actually see, or even try it out and see how they actually learn things, how they teach things here. And we also have groups of parents who will be leading school tours, which starts at 11 o'clock and 11:45. You can just go out there, follow the signs. There you can also ask them questions. But yeah, are there any questions before we wrap this up? Yes.
Thank you for sharing. I have one question about the assessment. So, as I know, the in other conventional schools, they usually have some kind of formative or summative assessment. So, is Waldorf education system have that kind of education assessment system? And also, there are international examination boards, for example, like local SPM, IGCSE, IB, or whatever. So how about the students graduated from here and in order for them to apply to the universities and thank you.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. That is actually a question that a lot of parents don't dare to ask a Waldorf school. Actually, yes, the Waldorf primary school and even middle school, we are free from the mandated testing that the government requires. So we are a private education. However, please note that the Waldorf education curriculum, it is not a wishy-washy curriculum. It is a curriculum recognized in the UK as well. It is actually a proper curriculum in the UK as well as in Australia. In Malaysia, we are working towards that to be recognized as a legal, so to speak, our curriculum here, because we do the British system, we've got the Canadian syllabus, we've got the Malaysian syllabus. So we're trying to get that recognized. But no testing, no exams. That is the truth. However, the children are assessed indirectly without them ever realizing, without them going through any stress, or through the work that they do. So we do assessments with the children. But there will be no marks. There's no 50 or 60 or 90 or 100, no marking system at all. They are assessed from the projects they do. Lots of what we call the emotional aspects, yeah? The works with their hands. They are assessed through projects that we set up for them. They are assessed through the work when they write. So all these things that they learn, they actually have to do it in the textbooks. Their textbooks. Because this is one way that we assess how much they know. The transition from middle school to high school. We have a high school curriculum as well. It's a Waldorf high school curriculum. That curriculum, or that period of time from grade 9 up to pre-U, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 12. Yes. They are prepared for IGCSE and also the Canadian pre-U. They will be able to assess that, right? It is rigorous enough because they will specialize in the subjects. Just like you will look at in IGCSE, you will require the subjects. You need to choose your subjects. Yeah? In high school, we will be doing that. We will be doing that. But the teaching methods will still remain this way, where they learn not by being fed. They will learn based on working. They will learn based on understanding. But by that age, as the teacher said, they are already there. They will not be bored with education even at that time. They will just want to know more.
I'll just add one sentence. In a mainstream school, when the students hear there is a test at the end of next week, everybody groans and like, oh no. But in my classroom, when I say, I'm going to give you a short little test, just relax, I'm just going to give you a short little test next week, and everybody in my classroom says, yay, we're going to have a test. Because they love questions, and they love to question me as well. And so this is a difference that I can feel, because they have been so relaxed. Their learning every day has been so fulfilling and rich, and they have no stress about learning.
So does that answer your question? Yes, correct, they do. We will, in high school, we will have our Waldorf schooling. That means we will have our Waldorf high school certification. We do have that. And it is recognized in other countries as a prerequisite to pre-U. It is. But however, if you want to go into, even to take IGCSE as a side, we will arrange for that. And they will be able to sit for IGCSE or even other possible course. So yes, for high school. Any more questions? So we, like Pat and I, we are familiar with the IGCSE syllabus, the conventional school syllabus. We are familiar because our children go through it as well. So the thing is that these syllabus are the prep work. If you think about it in conventional schools, Form 1 is basically at 13 years old. So you're looking at grade 7, right? 7, 8. This is our middle school. Our middle school ends in grade 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, beyond, they will go on specializations. So the subjects that will be taught are based like that. They will do physics specifically, they will do chemistry specifically, they will do biology specifically. But all that they have done here, which are interdisciplinary, they will be able to carry that logic or that common sense into learning. So they actually have that amount of years to prepare for that sort of test. Yes? starting till like from grade 8 onwards. And when would that be? Our first batch of students will be grade 8 next year. And then we are already amidst preparing for 9, 10, 11, and 12, the high school. So that is already in the works already. We actually have a team of people. We also have Andrew, who is our high school consultant. He is with the Melbourne Steiner Group, which they have already developed it as a recognized and certified curriculum for high school in Australia. So he is actually our mentor to develop it. So that is already in the works. That's already in the works.
As a know that the students not from started from the preschool following the system, so they are joining in the middle, for example, middle school. So they will definitely have different learning style, pattern, and behavior. So how could you, the teachers or the school students, can actually help these kind of children from conventional learning and transform, having a smooth transition to adapt to this kind of learning? Thank you.
We actually have no problem when it comes to children coming in from conventional school to our school. A lot of these children actually come in after their parents realize that they've been traumatized in conventional school. These children lose sleep. They sleep at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. doing their homeworks, and these are primary children for your information. So when these children come to our school, they actually have no problem adapting. In fact, they enjoy their time in school. The only problem, funny thing that they have is how wide the space is. They are used to being stuck in the classroom, that now when they're here, they are running about. That's the only thing they need to adapt. But conventional school children actually so far, from our experience, has zero problem in adapting. Because they realize now that, oh, you mean maths is this? It's not the way my teacher made me drill and do multiple times of it. They realize that that's not the way. And we do actually show them this is how you actually do fractions, this is how you do your percentages, this is how you do those percentages. So actually, we have not encountered any problem with conventional schools to one more last question if there are any, because their children, I think their children are really looking at something. Okay, what are the languages taught in our school? In our school, we have the 2 languages that we teach, Bahasa Melayu and Mandarin. These are the 2 languages we teach in school. We have the teachers that is trained the Waldorf way of teaching. So, like Mandarin, for example, right? They are not taught the way your Mandarin is taught. They are taught in a very different manner. So, through that, Bahasa Melayu is another language which they also learn this way. These are the 2 languages.
I'm a bit confused with, last time when we study, when we go into the university, before that we have to take SPM, right? So what is SPM now? IGCSE. Okay, so at the end of the years in Waldorf High School, they will be taking this exam or not. I know they may be ready, but I'm not sure if they take it here or they take it somewhere else.
Here, they will. We actually, they will register as a private candidate. They will actually register as a private candidate. You do know that with IGCSE, you see, IGCSE is basically a precursor to pre-university. In order for you to enter university, you need to have a pre-U. Pre-U is your A-levels, is your IB, it's your Canadian pre-U. These are pre-U. In order for you to qualify for pre-U, you need your SPM, your IGCSE, or your Canadian diploma, for example. So these, basically, the prerequisite before you enter A-levels, you only need about 5 or 6 main subjects. And you don't need A stars. You don't. You basically need to deliver 6 credits to do your pre-U, to do your A levels, to do your IB. Yeah, you only need 6 credits. So this is how the essential subjects are being covered. From here all the way to high school. So when you reach high school, you choose whether you want to delve into the humanities or the sciences. You will have the subjects we talk about that you do in SPM, SPM and IGCSE, they are very loosely based. SPM is loosely based on the British curriculum. So you will actually have the physics, chemistry, bio, maths, and further maths, and all those that you get around GCSE. These are the subjects that we offer, and the children will choose based on what they have done with us already. They will choose what they want to specialize in, so that they get the credits to go into pre-U. That's how we work. Does that answer your question? Yes? Yeah? Okay? Yeah, okay, so we have 2 workshops. If you actually want to try it, our children, the older children actually does handwork. If you want to know what happens in the handwork, you can actually have join the handwork. Teacher Kit is fantastic in work, so we have workshops there. And we also have a math workshop that will run in a bit. The math workshop, teacher Celine will actually show you how we teach maths. Actually, it's really interesting. If you're curious how we actually teach maths, do register for it and upstairs for the workshop. That's it. Yeah. 11:30 we have outdoor classroom. If you wonder what our children do outdoors, they go for hikes. Where do they go for hikes? We have trails in our campus, actually, with things. At 11:30, teacher V will actually be taking hikers up if you fancy taking a walk. Yes, please do join.
This one you can bring along your children if they are 10 years old and above, because there's a height limit for them to set up the trail. 10 years and above.
You cannot carry them. Is that what you want?
And then there's also a woodwork workshop for adults. Actually, our children do woodwork since when they are grade 5. Yeah, but because our kids are trained to do all those handwork and handle tools, so that's why we can start at grade 5. For today, it's for adults to try it out. But the skill that they're doing today is for grade 5 children. So if grade 5 children can do woodwork, so try it out to feel how it's like to be a